SQL injection vulnerability. And first of all, I would like to welcome all our newcomers and wish them to have a great time with us and to learn and to have a great experience in the club. So first of all, I will try first to explain about web attacks and for warming up, and then we will dive into SQL injection because we have a lot of newcomers that have no experience about web in general. So we will solve just 4 simple web CTFs, then we will dive more into SQL injection attacks. So this is our first CTF. We have just a web1 simple page and it asks you for a password. So first thing you should do when you open a website like that, just to check the source. As you can see, there's this comment here, looks something weird. So we will try this as a password and send it. I think it worked, it gave us the flag. So this is a very, very basic CTF. You just need to learn about viewing the page source from here. You click view page source. It's found in all browsers, I think. And you can check for the comments. As you can see, this challenge has the password in a comment hidden in the source code of the page. So moving to the next one. Looks very similar. So we will check again the source of the page. As you can see, there is this. So we'll copy it and go check the same scenario. It won't work. So if we look again at this text, we will see that there's 2 equal signs at the end. Basically, base64 is in that format. So if we try just to make base64 decoding to it, we will be able to read it. So base64 decode, as you can see, it says stop this JS. And I think it refers to this file. So we'll first just try it as a password, then we'll see whether it worked or not. So Control-C, submit it as a password. Well, if you saw, the flag just popped up, then it disappeared again. So we'll inspect, we will check this fade.js file, what does it does exactly, because the hint says hide this JS. So it looks like it fades out the response in here. It changes the text of the response. So let's see what's the response box. Here's the response. It changes the text to ha after, just after the page is reloaded. So we'll try to disable this JS file and see what's the actual text that's being printed out. And a simple way just to view the page source again, as you can see, we'll find the flag because that JavaScript won't execute here, and the flag will still be found on the source of the page after you provide the password. But if you view the page from this source, if you reload it, you will find the password, then it will disappear in less than a second. So we can try to use burp suite to remove the JavaScript file and disable this. So run proxy. Now just use burp suite, continue. Here's the request. I will change the response, okay. Here's the JS file. I'll just remove it so it won't show in the page, won't execute. Remove it. Okay. Now let's forward. As you can see, you will find the flag. So I hope you got it. It's simple one. The third one. So because you are an admin, please, you are not an admin, please leave this page. So we will check again the page source. There's no much here. So what else can we check? We can check the application, local storage, nothing. Section storage, nothing. Index database, cookies, yeah, we find a cookie here. No, seems there's no also. Let's see. Actually, there is a cookie. I don't know why it's not found here.
See memory, maybe memory tab.
Memory?
No, up there, yeah. Instead of application, check memory. Oh no.
All right, it should be here. I don't know why.
Go up and down on the list of the cookies.
Nothing. I'm going.
from the right.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah, here it is. So there's a cookie named cookie, and this is the value. If we just copy the value, actually, I will teach you about a very good website. It's called CyberChef. Where website? Tools, CyberChef. So it automatically detects the decoding or encoding of your payload. So I'll just paste it here. Well, it didn't. Okay. So let's try just to make it manually. Basically, this is the very simple one. You should know it by yourself. It's 3D is equals sign in URL encoding. So we will first decode this one with URL encoding. And then, as you can see, if the payload has 1 equals or 2 equal signs at the end, then basically this is a very simple base64 decoding. So we will decode it, and okay, there's admin false here. We'll change it to admin true. True. And we will encode it again to base64 and copy it. Change the cookie value. You can change it from the browser application or from any plugin you have. So it's the same thing. Save. Now let's reload. Yep, here's the flag. So it is a very simple cookie-based CTF. So next one. Okay, next. What was the fourth one? Okay. So here we have this challenge. It tells you to provide a password to log in. So if we check the source of the page, we'll find this. So it tells you something that the source is a source.txt. So we'll try to open source.txt here. And as you can see, this is a PHP code. It says the flag is flag.txt, and this function is just calls whatever in this file, and then the password is set to the same. Then it compares. Is set the password. It makes sure that the password. So here, XXX, for example, it makes sure that there's a parameter called password. So if yes, then it will go to the next one. It will compare the password to get password. So it will compare this password that was saved from here to the password in the get password just provided from the link. And if equals 0, this compare function will tell you whether this one has more characters or this one. So if it was plus, if it was more than 0, it will be this one is bigger. If it was less than 0, then this one will be bigger. So if it's 0, then this means they're identical. So if they're identical, then success is true, and if success is true, it's basically it will provide you with a flag. So as you can see, there's a flag.txt file. Actually, there is some bug in this CTF. I don't know whoever made it, but if I just opened it, I will be able to find the flag. But I don't know why I use this one because I think it's a bug for whoever made this CTF. So the bug here is in this string compare function. String compare can only compare strings. So if I made password an array, it won't be able to detect my input, and it will always give me a success compare. So making a parameter, an array, just by using this square brackets, this one makes this an array. So for example, if I want to provide 2 passwords, this is password 1, and again, and password 2 equals Anas. So as you can see, now it's giving me the password because it's now treated as an array, not a string. And arrays are always arrays can't work with the string compare function, and it will always return 0. So I don't need the second one. I will just show you that I can make two of the same parameters as an array. So I just need to make it an array by this one, and yeah, it will provide me with the key. So I think that's enough. Now let's go into our main topic, SQL injection, and challenge 4. So basically here it tells you to input something. So I'll just input Anas. It won't provide me with anything. I'll check the source code. It tells you try something like hierarchy, Noah, look. So I will try look, for example. Enter. Okay, it tells me there's user named Luke and the data I made this problem. Let's try if there's any other users. Okay, no, he's not here. Hi, Rookie. It seems like no, Luke is the only user found in this database. So actually, there's also a hint here, stop this JavaScript, but JavaScript isn't found anyway, so seems like a problem, the website. Anyway, so going back, we know that there's a user called Luke, and first of all, we know that this user must be saved somewhere in the database, and we will try to hack the database. So let's start with SQL injection presentation. So first of all, what is SQL injection? And second thing,
Anas,
yes.
Can we take questions from them on the previous challenges? Maybe somebody has a question on them. The CTF questions.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Can we take questions from people about the previous CTF questions?
Oh, okay. Maybe yeah. Yes.
Okay, guys, if anyone has a question about the previous CTS, the previous challenges, there were 4 challenges. Anas said he's just going to start with few CTF web challenges just to warm us up, and then we're going to talk about our main topic, which is SQL injection. So for the web challenges, does anybody have any question about them?
Is everything clear? Any point that you didn't get it right or you need more explanation about? And if you have any questions,
I think there is no raised hand here. If
you
I'm
can
not
just
mistaken.
you can just write a comment if you don't understand.
Just unmute yourself or write on the chat if you have any question.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is?
Go ahead.
How did you get the PHP file again? Because I didn't.
I shouldn't be able to read PHP files, but this challenge, it tells you that there is a PHP file here hidden. So if you view the source, it will tell you that the source is at source.txt. So it's actually just a copy of the PHP file to be able to solve the challenge. It shouldn't be here anyway. So this is it. This is not the real PHP file. It's just like a hint for the challenge, because a PHP file must be ending with PHP. But for sure, you won't be able to read it.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions?
Okay. Also, as well, guys. Every meeting we register those who attend the meeting into UTM merits, which is an activity that it is registered as an activity on UTM website. So by the end of this lecture, we're going to pass the form. Everyone is going to fill his name and his MATIC number, and then we're going to pass these things to UTM so they can register you in UTM activity. Okay, the mic is with you, Anas. You can go ahead with SQL injection. Also, guys, feel free to ask questions in between. Like if he's speaking about one point and then you want a clarification, what is this? What does that mean? You can ask that question, because the sole purpose of doing this is just to learn from each other. So that's how we learn. So feel free to ask questions or write anything at the chat, and then he will respond to it.
Okay, so let's continue. Here we have these slides by Dr. Sayed Zainuddin. So we'll start about what is SQL injection, and then a quick MySQL tutorial, and then SQL injection. So first, what is SQL injection? So it's basic. What is SQL injection? SQL injection, inserting special crafted SQL instructions for arbitrary SQL code injection. Example, this is an SQL injection payload. So what actually this does, it bypasses the login page, and we'll know in the next slide how this is made. So this is an example. How does it work? Behind the scene, there's the SQL injection being executed. So this is actually an SQL injection query. It's mostly PHP, because this is a PHP. This is a PHP parameter, whatever. So they're mostly identical in all the languages, but with minimal differences. So first we here select all from account. So we'll select all the fields from the accounts table, where the username is equal to user and the password is equal to password. So what actually this statement does is that it goes to the accounts table on the database of the web server, and it selects all the fields. So the fields, for example, will be ID, username, user details, whatever, the data, birth date, all the information about the user. It will collect from the accounts table, and will search by what? By the username and the user password. So there will be two fields in this table. They're the fields that are responsible for identifying each user. So they are the username and the user password. So give an example here. Let's open. No. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Let's check here. My SQL. So here, if we show databases, show that databases. So here we have all the databases on my local host. This is a database, and this is a database, and this is a database. So each database has different tables. For example, if you have a website for chatting, you will have a database called chatting. This database will have the table for users, the table for chat messages, the table for example, login and sessions, and thereon. So here, this is the table name, accounts. So accounts actually has many columns. The one column is called each column has two unique values, its user and password, and they are used to identify this user. So I'm now telling the server to go and search for all the table that's called account and check if there's one field has this password and this username in the same time. So if you found this password, and the user wasn't the same, so don't provide me with the details of the user. But if the username and the password were identical for one user, then provide me with all the fields for this table, and then we will continue to make the login process. So actually, what if I put this value as my login username or password? It will look like that. So as you can see, this username will be changed by this value, and this password will be changed at the same value. So it will look like that. Select all. Star means all fields. Select all from accounts where username equals to this value, and password. I didn't provide any password right now. I just entered a username with this one, and the password is null, so I didn't provide anything. So now this statement will check whether the username is like that, it's nothing, or it's 1 equals 1. Then this is the hashtag. It will comment the rest of the statement. So actually, this is the whole statement, because this is a comment, so it won't be executed. This is the whole of the statement right now. So it will check whether the username is null. This is not null. Actually, it's end string. So it's called undefined. So is there a username like that? So if not, then it will check true. Yes, it's true. So it will log in you in the first username of the database.
Anas, if you would excuse me, could you go back to the previous slide? I want to clarify just one thing here. Okay, so basically what's going on here, guys, is that you know the login page I showed you yesterday, is that you will input your username and you will input your password. So at the normal level, with a normal programmer, somebody who's not trying to hack, just a normal poor programmer who's just trying to implement a login page for somebody to log in, is that you will input the username or you'll input the password. So when you input them, you actually input them in the HTML element of the form. So what happens is that the website is going to go and ask the database that is running on your server. He's going to ask the database and tell it exactly this thing. Give me all star means all. Give me all the records from our accounts table, because basically if you have usernames and passwords, you're not going to store them in URLs table. You're just going to make a table for users, right? Users or accounts. This is where you make a table to store this information. For example, in the bank, there is like a table or an Excel sheet, let's say, for all accounts of people in the bank, and then there's going to be another sheet for all the money that is in the bank. So the same thing goes with websites. When you try to design a website, you will have a database. In this database, you have just a bunch of tables that you store information about your website in it. So one table in that database would be the user accounts table. So here we're trying to normally execute that. We want to get all the records about this user where his username is equal to the username that we are getting, and his password is equal to the password that we're getting in the form. So by SQL injection, this username and this password we provide it, right? As hackers, we are the person who's going to enter that username and enter this password. What if you see username here is equal to what? It starts with a single quote. What if we directly put another single quote? Basically, the username is going to be null, right? And then we write another comment at the back. So we're going to, because comments in code, they're getting ignored. The compiler do not do anything about them because they're just comments. So in PHP, comment is a hashtag, I guess, or in SQL. So it's not a hashtag in SQL. So you would end this quote. You don't see my mouse, but you will end this quote after username, and then you're going to just ignore the rest of this. So that's what happened when we put or1 equal 1. It's just we're trying to, as we control the input, we control the username, we control the password. We try to give it something that is logical, and that will allow us to sometimes bypass the login, sometimes allow us to leak some data from the database, and so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you, Abdullah. So as Abdullah said, this is a very simple SQL injection attack that will bypass the login page. So it will just select all the fields from the accounts table where the username is equals to this one, which is actually mostly won't be found the username with this space or whatever, or true. So this is actually a statement. Username equals this one. This is a statement. So if you return true, then it will provide us with some data. If not, then there's another or. This one equals 1 is 1 equals 1. Yes, it's true. So this is another true. So the select will work, and once we didn't provide any special user, it will just use the first one in the table, and mostly it will be the admin username. So you'll be able to log in as an admin just by using this one, because mostly the ID1 user will be admin. It's the first one who made the website. So again, this statement actually, after it executes, it will just make sure that there's a user with this username. If yes, then it will be like 1 or true, and this one also. So as you can see, so they both of them must be true or must be 1. So if this was 0, this was 1, it won't work. It must be both true. So if this was true, then it will return back the data for the statement. So here we just made our own true. So this one is true. We can also write true by ourselves, and we can make a true statement like 1 equals 1. So this is basically the very basic SQL injection how it works. And here is more explanation about it if you want to read. Okay. So here, as you can see, this is this one. There's no username equals like that, so it's false. Then there is true is true, so it will allow us to go for the database. Anyway, so this is 2 comics about SQL injections. So actually, this is a mom comic. Hi, is this your son's school where we're having some computer trouble? Okay, dear. Did you break something? In a way, did you really name your son Robert, semicolon, Robert single quote, semicolon, drop table students, then semicolon, then double dashes is actually comments. So this actually is about a mom named her student an SQL statement to drop all the student records from the school. So she just closed the Robert name, then she made drop table. Drop table is an SQL statement to drop an entire table. So she named the drop table student. So when the school entered her son's name in the database, you can see here, well, we have lost this year's student records. I hope you are happy.
Yeah, by the way, like this is a comic, right? This is just a comic about a woman who because drop table is a valid statement. So once you put semicolon, you put another statement and it's going to execute. So this is a comic, but there is a real story that a guy who was I'm not sure, I think in Finland or somewhere in Europe, he named his after his car plate number. He added a semicolon and he added drop all tables. Oh, it's here, right? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't see the presentation. Okay, I just was saying it off my head. So yeah, he named his car like this. So whenever the radar caught him, the radar actually performed this SQL message.
Because the reader basically copies it and makes OCR and reads it, then it inserts it into the table. So in the insert query, another query will be made for dropping the table. So it's actually funny to play with this. Anyway, so now a quick SQL tutorial. We'll make our own live one. So this is a simple website that you give names and it will provide you with the name and the data for this name. So we want to view all the information about this user. So now we have, actually I will open it from another browser because it's saved here, the payloads. So anyway, here we have Luke. Here will provide us with the name. Now we want to try, for example, Luke. We first need to try to imagine how the statement is. So I think it's like that. Select all from users where name equals to, and here is our injection. Okay, so what we can do here to make make it give us all the inputs, we can inject, like we now inject Luke. This is our input, Luke. Now we can. So this is our input between these single quotes. So if we add another single quote after Luke and then entered or true and space, just like that. So now the space, but we have here semicolon. So we add another or semicolon. So we now have, as you can see, this is the statement. If we added this one as our input. So select all from users where name equals Luke's single quote or true or single quote. So because if we didn't add this one, this single quote will make an error. So whether we add this one or we just comment it out, and we will try both. So now we'll try to inject this one and see if it will work. Okay, it worked, and this is the flag. So let's try to make it with different ways to make sure we understand the concept. So now we will comment out the rest of the statement, and we'll try. It didn't work. Why? Okay. Why it didn't work? Anybody has an idea why it didn't work? Yeah. Actually, the comment in SQL, there must be a space after the comment. So if we just add it like that and like that, this won't be a valid comment. You must add a space after the comment, so it will work. So I forgot to add this space between the comment and the semicolon. And if it was a GET request, you must add like plus, because plus is a space in URL encoding. So now this is the second way it worked. What is this? Okay, you can try another way. Let's just ignore this look thing. We don't need look anymore. We'll just try to make it name, or let's try the same statement we saw on the slide, true. Don't know if actually this hashtag works on some databases and some not. So I'm not sure about SQL, about MySQL. Oh, we lost it. Okay, again. Select all from users where actually the capital words it is just like a keyword, so you know which one is the SQL keywords and which one is your own keywords. So it doesn't matter whether you write it capital or not, but this is the preferred way for writing, so you can read your statement easily. So select the SQL function from where, but users is your own table, so you can differentiate by seeing which is capital, which is not. And some databases will, for example, select select all from. So some database will differentiate between user like that and user like that, and some won't. It's actually, you can change it in the settings, so we don't need to worry about it in this case. So select all from users where name equals to. So we'll make it like that, then or hashtag space like that, or 1 equals 1, 1 equals 1. Let's try this one. Anyway, okay, it worked. So actually, there's many ways you can make the SQL statement. So I want someone to give me another way. So there's actually a lot of ways. So I'll just wait. Someone can provide me with another way we didn't use. Any other payload we can use to bypass this SQL?
I think you can use AND.
And what? What do you want to use here instead of or?
I think there's
if you use and here, then this will be false. This one will return false, and this one will return true. So it won't work because or will make only one true work, but and will require both of them to be true. So and if you mean it just by changing here to and, no, I don't think it can work. But do you mean something else?
I think we can add anything after the or, but we just make sure that it is true. We can even add any other select statement that we're sure is going to be true.
Yes.
We can add any true statement after or, because we're 100% sure that the name is a false. Yeah.
Let's try this one. I don't know actually if it will work, but it would be funny if it worked. Yeah, it worked. So I just said not false. So it's I inverted false, and it worked. So I'm making sure this is actually returns true. So I will show you on JavaScript. So if I enter this. Anyway, so true. Oh, true. Why it doesn't work? So anyway, 1 equals 1 is. What's wrong here?
2 equals. 2 equals.
What?
Use 2 equals, not 1.
Oh yeah, sorry. We need to use 2 because it's programming language. So yes, here is true. So if you use not 1 equals 1, it will bring us false. So now we can use a false statement. So actually 1 is true and 0 is false. So if we said not 0, it will be true. So this is the same as writing not false. Yes, here it is. I don't know why it didn't work before. Anyway, so not false actually is true. So that's what we did here. We said not false. There's actually tons of ways, but it's funny to learn different ways. And what actually you can use this in more advanced situations when, for example, you want to check the password. If the input isn't returned back to you, it's called blind SQL injection. In case of blind SQL injection, you will be able to see the response whether it worked or not. So, for example, the status code. So here, if I check the network, reloaded, this is the status code here. As you can see, 200. Okay, so it worked. Sometimes it will return 404, not found. So you can see if your statement worked or not, but no, nothing will be returned back. So in this case, you can use this logic about comparing to check the password. So you will go to the password table and you will, for example, start with the first character. And they mostly use programs, automated programs to do it. But the logic about it is that you go to the tables and then you check the first character. So you tell the is 1 equals to the first character of the password, yes or no. So if it returns true, then you can know that the first character is 1. Then you check the second character, is it equals to 6, for example? No. Is it equals to 7? No. Is it equals to 8? Yes. Then the second character is 8. Then this way they use it to check anything of the database. There's some functions on MySQL that provide us that we can check something. We can check, for example, an input and compare it with a specific character in another value. So this actually is a very modern attack. Was found earlier, but it's hard to make it manually. They mostly use scripts to do it. So going back to our slide, I hope it's clear right now. If anything isn't clear, you can just comment or write any of your problems. Anyway, so going back. So this is a quick MySQL tutorial. So show database actually will show us all the database we have. Use database will go into the database and will show us the table. So here, show tables will show the tables inside a database. And show column from table name. Show column will show us all the database entries, all the table entries. But we first must enter a database using use database. So actually, this is the column named user, and there's field. Yeah, sorry, this is not the entries. It's just the columns. So there's column host, user, password. So this is what I was talking about. So this is the, for example, the users table, and as you can see, there is this user and this password. So the user. So the user is maximum for 16 characters, and the password is maximized as 41 characters. And this is what we are comparing to. So the statement up there is making sure that there is one table row or column, one table row that's that has this username and this password on the same time. If yes, then it will return this row, and then the programmer will use this ID to make a session for the user, and so on and so forth. So anyway, this is an example. So select user and host and password. So this is user, host, and password from users. So this is all the entries on the table called users for only these three columns. So we selected 3 columns from the table called user. Now we can specify it more using select and a condition. So here select hello, semicolon, hello and word, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Select. You can select actually multiple, and if we just specify it with star, it will give us everything. So actually there is something else we can check. I just want to test it first. Sleep. Yes, we can use this one. So it's semicolon sleep. So the sleep function actually makes the database sleep for a while. So we'll make it 100 milliseconds. The server now will take 100 milliseconds to respond to us. So if we, for example, find a blind SQL injection, and we want to make sure whether there's an injection or not, this is the most common blind SQL injection check. You make the database sleep for a second. So now I made it sleep for 100. Is this second or millisecond? I don't know. I think it's millisecond. Anyway, it's taking a while right now, but it will. As you can see, while it took a long time, this means our sleep function has been executed, and this means that it's working and there is an SQL injection. So, okay, I think this actually is most common use SQL injection. This is MySQL.
In MySQL sleep, the parameter is seconds, not milliseconds. That's why it's taking a
Second?
while.
Oh, yes. Okay. I knew it's second, but I don't know why when I entered 10, it returned in the same time. So I thought maybe I know wrong.
There is a question in the chat.
Anyway, so now let's go back and see a more advanced scenario. I don't know if there's... Okay. Okay. So here.
There is a question in the chat.
Oh, okay. Let's say I'm website owner. What can I do to... Okay, we'll do it lastly. We'll see how we can prevent SQL injection. So last thing, we will know how programmers prevent from SQL injection to happening. And now let's see the second challenge we have. This is a more advanced one because the flag is not... I think I just made the database sleep. Can you open the website? Can you open it on your end?
It's still redirecting me, but
is the website working or
server sleep?
Still in
Database sleep.
redirecting.
if it is still redirecting, I think we can. I'm trying to access it directly. Yeah, probably the server is still like.
It's just 100 seconds, guys.
Let's pray for that. Yeah, I think.
Okay, let's go back to the slides.
Yeah, let's keep it for 5
Okay.
minutes and then come back to it. I think it's
Okay.
should work.
So let's go back here. So actually, if we found this same statement, but we want to access another table, but we must be in the same database. So we want to access another table to bring the password from. So there's an onion function. So for example, if this is our statement, select all from users, where name equals to whatever you put here, and you want to access another table, not this table, because for example, in most cases you will need, if it's not a login function, for example, and you just use it to bypass, and you want to read the real database, you will actually need to use a function called union function. And this union function, how it works is you provide us with another select statement, but it must use the same entries as the previous one. So again, why do you use onion statement? Because in SQL, each query must be like one. Must use one keyword. So for example, you can't just make like semicolon, end the statement, and use another select and use another drop. No, you can't do that. That's not the way it works. You can only use one statement for each query. So now we used select. You can't close it and open another select, for example. You must end this select and open an entire new call for the SQL database and make another call. So we need to use this function called onion, so we can make more selects from the original one. So union, when you write union right now, first thing after you write union, you must know how many fields did we select from the previous table, because we must provide here with the same. So for example, if I wrote here union star from let's say table chats, if I wrote like that and chats had 4 columns and users had 5 columns, it won't work, because this must be the same as this one. So in this case, I must do like select 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it will be, so this is 5. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to make sure that we have the same as the previous one. So how do we check for how many fields are requested from the original request? There are two ways. The first way is by using union directly, and then we check by using nulls. So we'll use null. We don't specify the table yet. We just use null. And once the query works, then this is the right nulls. Each null represents a field here. So for example, if this statement works, then there's 3 here. If it didn't, we add another null. If it didn't, we add another, until we find the right fields that we need to request. Then we start from table, whatever, and we change each null with the table, with the field we want to get back from the table. The other way is by using order by. Order by is a more simple way. So we just order by, and 1, 2, you just try 4, 5, 6, 7. You try all the numbers till one works. So the one that worked is actually how many fields. So if you just type order by 4 and it works, then it's 4, 5, then it's 5. So we'll try both. I hope it worked. Please. No. Why? Is the whole server down, or I think the whole server is down. Don't think the sleep caused that.
It is down for me as well.
So actually, I will try to make it like that. And if it didn't work, if it worked after we finish, I will make it practical. So the other challenge is select all is identical, but the flag is in another table. So we need to use order by first. So we'll use order by, for example, 4. Did it work? It will be 5, as I guess. I think 4 or 5, doesn't matter. So once we find the right number of fields that we need, we start writing union, and null. It's 4, as I can remember. Anyway, from there is this table. It's found in all MySQL databases. It's the default one, and it stores all of the information about the database inside. So now we want to select it so we can read all the database information from it. So we'll write information schema dot tables. Dot tables. So if we select this one, then yes. Okay. So we need 1 minute. So this is our statement. So we actually need now to select a field called table underscore name. Once we do that, we will get a list of all the tables on the database. So if we executed this as the name, don't need this semicolon at the end. I think we need to comment at the end, so we will not have problems. Okay. Yes. Yes, like that. So if we enter this one as our statement, as our name, it will close the select and it will open another union and we'll select the table from information schema tables. So this will bring back all the table names, and we'll find the table names at a table named, and I'm talking about the challenge, not about in real life where you want to find something special. For example, if you want to check the users table or whatever, but in this challenge, because if you want to check it after that, you can check it by yourself. So there's a table called, I think, found me. Yeah, found me. So now you will go to select. You want to see the columns inside this table. So you will change tables to columns, and we want to read all the column names. Column name. After we execute that, we will find another column name named "You found me." Yes, you found me. So so now we know that there's a table called. This table is called "Found Me," and there's a column in this table named "Yes, you found me." We will try now to read it. So we will select this "Found me." Found. It was like that. Found me. And from the table, I can't really remember exactly the name, so I think it was like that. Found me. So if we now enter this one, Saleh, can you remember the name of the column?
No, but found you have a missing U. Yeah, this found, but
I remember
I'll
the
try
column
to
name.
check it if I still have it.
Okay, I think you can find it in your history. If you can find it, send the whole command. Anyway, so now we have this union. This is the column name. We will select this column from the table called found me, and once we execute this whole statement as a name we want to search for, this will be injected inside our SQL statement, and we will be able to read another table called found me, and we will be able to read the column named "Yes, you found me," and we'll be able to read the flag. So I hope it's clear. I know it's very strange when you read about it for the first time, as mostly if you don't know much about SQL. So if you have any questions about this part, please ask, please. Because
Anas, maybe you can show them how the semicolon acts as a command injection in Bash in a normal terminal. It would be like it would simplify the idea of the SQL injection probably. If you just show them what does the semicolon do in Bash in normal shell.
Sorry, again, you want me to?
If you can show them in the normal terminal, how does a command injection work? Like like make directory then semicolon then echo, and that would maybe simplify the idea of the SQL injection. Is that the thing normally does this, but you abuse it to make it do this. That's it.
If I use the echo from terminal.
Yeah, any command in terminal with a semicolon and then another command, they're going to both execute after each other. So if the website gives you one command to execute, you can abuse it to execute multiple commands. That's
yes. For example, here, no, we'll just make another directory. Make there CyberX. Make the CyberX. So cd. So we can actually execute multiple commands from the same query. So touch actually is a command that makes a file. So we'll touch a file called Anas and another file called Abdullah and another called Saleh, for example. So now we will touch three files, and after we end that, we want to open the first file. Open it. We want to put something on the first file and something on the second and something on the third. So there are actually 4 different comments. So I will separate them by this semicolon. Semicolon separates comment from each other. So as you can see now, I ended the first one, and I will do example, yay to Anas and no to what is it called? Abdullah. And the last one for Saleh, maybe for Saleh. So as you can see, these are 4 different commands. This is the first one, touching 3 files. Second one, adding yes to Anas file, no to Abdullah file, and maybe to the file called Saleh. Enter. What's wrong?
I think the semicolon should be connected to Salah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because bash is like.
Oh no, it's this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, now what's wrong? Hey, Saleh, Allah.
You should echo. It's
Oh yeah,
echo,
sorry.
echo them, yeah.
Echo.
So basically, guys, here is that generally there is only like you can make one command, right? But when you do a semicolon, you can actually combine multiple commands in Linux. So imagine that we have a website, and this website allows us to execute only one command. So they give us only one space to put our command. So we can easily abuse this by putting our command and then putting another semicolon, and then putting the second, and then a semicolon, and the third command, and the semicolon, and the fourth command, and so on and so forth. So we can execute multiple commands, although that we are just abusing the idea of a semicolon. The same thing with the SQL injection is that the normal query is going to have your username or your password. So you can only provide one username and one password, but you can abuse that by putting your username and then putting, for example, a semicolon, or putting another select statement, or putting another logical statement, or putting a union statement, or you can try multiple things, multiple techniques that others have shown them to us. So these techniques, if you just inject them with your name, with your username that you provided the website, you can easily hack that website. It's not hack it, but you can leak databases, you can bypass login checks, you can do multiple stuff. So that's the basic idea of SQL injection. That's why they call it injection, because you should support, you should provide your username, but you inject like you just inject another command that's going to work to your advantage and help you like hack that server or leak information from it, or whatever your purpose is with that specific SQL statement.
So some is asking about whether the statement will work with other databases. Actually, each database has its own syntax, but they're mostly very similar. So as you can see, I don't know how the server dropped for just once. Okay, work back. So let's go back to work. So here, this is our example. So I just answering the question. Each SQL language has its own differences. So, for example, the sleep comment I just showed you in here. In other like Oracle database, it's different. You just write sleep without these brackets. So it's different, but they're mostly the same. So the logic is mostly the same on most SQL syntaxes, but it differentiates just with minimal difference. You can Google. So once you detect the SQL you are working with, you can Google the keywords that you can use to abuse this SQL. Okay, so back here, we'll do what we are just doing. So what we're just doing, I forgot. Okay, so we'll close. Now we'll use union, and we just try first with order by. One. Okay, won't work. Let's try order by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5. Okay, it looks like it won't work. 6. Which one is this one? Why it's not working? Order by Just 1 second. Sorry for that, but I don't know. Order by. So I think I'm writing it the same way. Why it's not working? Yeah, sorry, it's like that. This actually, this is an ID, so it just takes an integer value. So there's no need for the semicolon. For example, if you just write 1, it will work. So you don't need to provide a semicolon because it's just a number. So there is no any semicolon here. We just write it like that. I think it was 4. 4. It's 5 then. 5 order by 5. 1 order by 5. Okay, sorry. Yes, this is it. So I just selected the first one, and I ordered them by 4. If I change the order, for example, by 3, it's wrong. Order. I think I'm doing it the same way.
I think there is no need for order by here. You can just try null, 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 and try how many nulls will make it.
1, 2, 3, 4. I know, but I tested it before and it worked, so I don't know what's the problem. 4. So I don't really know what's wrong with order by here. I don't know if it's because it's an integer, so it works with a different way. So anyway, we'll just go to the other way by using union. Just write 1 union, union null. Start with only 1 null and commenting the rest. Okay, so copy, submit. So it will work. Let's add another null.
It is select null.
Oh, sorry.
Select null. No. Union select null.
Union select null. Null. So we now go to 3. There's 4. It worked. So this means we have 4 fields in the previous select, and because once we added 4 nulls, it worked. So now we'll start seeing which null from this one is returned back to us. So we'll, for example, just make this 1, enter. 1 is returned here in bits. Okay, we can play with this one right now. So now we will read the information schema for tables. So select table name from information schema dot tables. Okay. As you can see, all the tables are returned in the breed. As you can see here, it's actually, you shouldn't know which one is it. You should just make you should read all the database, but because this challenge is just easy to make you understand what's the basics concept of SQL injection, it tells you the table here. It's whoa, you find me. So now we know the table name. We'll go back to read the columns. Oh. So here we will read the table information schema dot columns, and we'll read the column name. Column or name. Enter. Okay. No, this one. One. What's wrong? Okay. So here's the statement. Now we entered select column name from information schema dot columns. So if we scroll down, we'll find this table, this column named found me. So we can now read it just by reading the found for me field from the table called whoa, you found me, that you just found on the previous select. So we'll read it from here. Okay, enter. So found me from column and 1, 2, 3, 4. Why it's not working?
No need for the commenting here, I think, because we are using it to close the.
It wouldn't matter. What about commenting? Sorry, 1 minute. Anybody has an idea? Because this is a table.
Found me, the 3, not me, found me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Found me. Okay. Yes, here's the flag. So I hope it's clear. I know it's a bit confusing, especially for the first time, and especially if you don't know much about SQL in general, it will be harder even to know SQL injection. So I'll just execute some commands here so you can get more involved in SQL. So here we just open an SQL, MySQL server. So I'll just select the same thing, select table underscore name from information underscore key. Sorry guys. Key dot table tables. Enter. Okay, so here's all the tables we have on the database. This is the default configuration. It didn't actually add anything yet. So this is the statement selecting all the tables from the information schema.tables. Well, what else can we can do? So we can just use, let's see a table here. Use MySQL. Okay, now show tables. Here's the tables inside MySQL database. So it's actually, the SQL is very, very, very simple, especially if you are just using basic things, unless you are doing some complex functions to merge and join some tables together to gather to use the simplest way to read something and merge them together, for example. But in most cases, it's just very, very simple. It's like selecting from databases and using. There's 4 main statements: select, insert, and update, and delete. This is the most basic ones. So select is actually for reading, insert for adding, update for updating, delete for deleting a record. And it's very simple. You can just find the SQL cheat sheet. So if you read it just for one time, you will have a very good idea about how SQL actually works. And it's good to know it in general, even if you won't be an SQL programmer. But SQL is an entertaining language. It's very good. So now back to any questions so far? I'm sure you can guess the performance. Yes, as I said, it's different syntax from SQL to another, But yes, you can try them. For example, if you tried sleep 10 and it didn't work, then you know it's not Oracle, for example. You'd now try sleep and 10 between brackets. If it worked, then you can, you know, it's mostly MySQL or Microsoft SQL. So you will use this method to know which database you are using. Actually, there is something we can do here. We can use function inside here. So if we use, for example, version, and this is a function called version. I want to select from anywhere, just on the fly select. Oh, sorry, no, found me, null. So enter. Okay, this is the version of my server. I can use, what else do we have? Schema. Schema will tell me which table I'm in. Schema. Yep, this is the table I'm in right now. So I can use functions just to know which, where am I working right now. I think at version, it's for MySQL version. I think version. No, actually, I think this is the MySQL version, and this is the server version. It's the same as the previous one I just wrote. So you can use this function also to know what's the server and what exactly you are working on. So, any other questions? Okay, I think we're good to go. So last thing we'll talk about preventing from SQL injection attacks. So actually all the example we took so far was about PHP and MySQL. So we will start with PHP. So PHP actually for back days used to use direct MySQL queries using a function called MySQL query. It was working the same way we can see here. Just select and you provide it with the variables like that. But now this way is not supported anymore in PHP 7. It's only supported in old version of PHP 5. So now there are two main ways. It's PHP PDO and PHP MySQLi. It's SQLi or MySQLi. Okay, MySQLi is PDO. So we'll see how both prevent from SQL injection. No, I need php.net. Yep. So this is PDO. Okay, this is an example. No. Okay. The way it works won't work. Okay. The way it works, this is the SQL connection object. Then you write prepare. Prepare. You write your statement here, and for every variable you want to add, you just add this. Whether you can add what do you call this? Anyway, this sign and question mark. Yeah, you can add question mark, and then you will write another query using this one. So I just want
execute.
Yeah, then execute. But I want to see it. Okay, it's like that. Okay, this is it. So you just prepare it like that, execute this one, and this is the variable you want to add. Then you still not just array.
I think I have one on my PC. Let me try to find it.
Okay, here. So this is the query. Nope, it's not. Array. I have one here. Okay, 1 minute.
Let me share. I have one. Let me show it. Or like maybe I send it to you. I'll send it to you through WhatsApp.
Okay.
I sent you a whole code, and this is where there is a preparation then execution for the statement. It's a user login form.
Okay, I found one. Here it is.
I sent you one through WhatsApp. Maybe I'll put it in the chat. It's much
Okay.
easier.
So here's, for example,
I put it here in the chat.
Okay.
In the chat.
Okay. This is another example. Control C. Okay, this is an example. This
Maybe
is,
if you can increase the font.
okay. View. Preferences, settings. Okay, this is this actually is a statement. Then you prepare it. Then you write execute. Where is?
Then you pass username and password. You get them from the post request.
Yeah, I mean, where is them in the query itself?
Here. Oh yeah.
It should be like that.
I was debugging. Just put this one in multiple. Put a question mark. Yeah, exactly.
Right. There are two ways. You don't need this one right now. So actually, I'll just simplify it more. So it's an application. It tells the user to provide his username and his password, and then it uses this config file has a PDO database connection. Don't need this. And this is the connection statement. So you use the connection statement and prepare your. You first use prepare. The prepare keyword actually prepares your statement you're gonna execute. You can use if there is variables that you want to add, you just prepare. If there is not, you just write query like that. I think query, right? Query. I think it's query. Yeah. You just write query and it will execute directly. But once there is
MySQLi underscore is query, I think, in this version. MySQLi underscore query.
No,
if I'm not mistaken.
Anyway, so as you can see now, as long as we need to provide with the username and password, we use this way. There's another way. Just you write here, for example, username, and here you write password. So you can differentiate them good. And you come here, make an array. And for this array, we'll do like that. Okay, so here for username, I have here an example. No. Okay, anyway, so username, then like that to username, and also it will replace the username with this one, and the password will replace it with password. So this way, actually, PHP will handle it right and won't enable these variables to change the query. It will just filter them and make sure that no injection can be made. This is the correct way to do it in PHP right now. And there's also MySQLi. So this is the second way. Actually, I'm not familiar that much with MySQLi, but it's very similar. You just prepare the function, then you execute it. This is actually the connection database, the connection query. You write MySQL, then your host, then your server name, then your database name, then the username, then the password, and then you use this link here to make the statement like that. Then you connect. So it's very simple way. Each language has its own way of preventing SQL injection. So for example, if we checked Ruby, SQL injection, prevention. Okay, here's how you prepare and make the statement in Ruby language. You just write, you require the MySQL method, then you write database MySQL new, then you prepare your connection, then a statement, you write just database.prepare, You select the same way actually as PHP. So this is the way that you use now right now. You can try it just the variable right here because it won't even work. It's not just about it's bad for security purpose. No, but most modern language won't allow you to put your variable just insert inside the query because it's very, very dangerous. It can cause very big damage to your application. This is the way PHP use Ruby. Let's check for the Django. The Django MySQL prevention.
Actually, guys, for those who are interested in understanding how a web works, I'm going to share 2 links for you. First link is a 2 hours crash course video about HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and then a playlist about PHP and MySQL. So in 2 weeks or in 1 week, you can familiarize yourself with these things. You can design your own website, which is going to be great.
So basically, it's the same. It's very simple, as you can see. You just write object. No. You just write it right here. So this is the input that will be put in right here. But in this way, the SQL it will prevent to make the SQL. It will prevent this dinosaur thing from changing the query itself. So you can see this insert into table column values and this. So using this way, if you just didn't write plus and added the variable inside the query, use this way, it will prevent the dinosaur from closing and adding this stuff. It will encode the statement for you. So any questions so far? Who was asking about how to prevent? Is it clear right now? Who was asking? Yes, Leo, Wei, Shang. Is it clear now how we can prevent? Yeah, okay. So anyone else had any questions or clarification? So I think we're good. So I think it's the end of the presentation right now. So I would like to thank you all for your attendance. And again, I would like to thank our newcomer and hope them to have a nice time with us. And thanks again. See you in the next week.
Okay, thank you, Anas. Thank you very much. Guys, let me wait 1 second because we were preparing something for you. Okay, so while the team prepares what they're preparing, I just want to tell you guys that I've shared with you in the WhatsApp group 2 courses link. First one is just 2 hours, guys, because if you learn this thing, first of all, it's going to really help you understand quite a lot of things about web and how sessions work, how cookies work, and it's a good introduction for the second one. I mean, for the first one, is going to teach you how HTML, CSS, and JavaScript work in just 2 hours. What you have to do is simply install VS Code and just follow along with the guy who is explaining. Try to do exactly as he's doing, and things are going to work with you as it is working with him. And he's also sharing, if I'm not mistaken, he shares his code on GitHub repository, so you can compare your code to his code and see what are the differences. That's for the front end. In the front end, it is just how the website is represented. It's like in websites are made of 2 things: front end and back end. The front end is how the website looks in the front of your eyes, but there is no process going on. For example, in the front end, you can create a login form, right? You can create a box for him to put his username. You can create a box for him to put his password. You can create all these things. You can style it. You can make it look very, very cool. But how do you actually check if his username or his password exists? You need to contact your server. So the server is what runs at the backend. So usually in websites, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, they would run on the front end, and the back end you would find PHP. Sometimes you can find the back end of Python. Sometimes you can find even Java, normal Java back end. But it doesn't matter. Most websites would use PHP. So I think, yeah, that's for it. And if you guys want me to show you a few examples about SQL injection attacks, I'm not sure if this is going to let me try to share my my Google Meet. Okay, you can see my screen.
No.
It is be sharing now.
Can ready.
Okay. There's a guy who explains a lot about SQL injection attacks. So his name is EFSEC. He has a YouTube. It's not he explains hack the box. Okay, so let me show you YouTube.com. EFSEC probably. Yeah. So there's a website called Hack the Box. So basically, there are like machines, easy, hard, medium, and people start to hack these machines. So these are different machines. He keeps hacking them. Each video is like 1 hour, and then in each video, he comes here with captions and he tell you what is he doing, doing this, login, doing this. So he then made a website for people to search through these captions and be able to identify or like just to look for something he's doing. How is he doing it? So if we write SQL injection, we can find that finding an auth bypass by SQL injection and login and throwing into SQL map script, run union commands, and testing basic SQL injection. So I want to find a one. Yeah, here he explains the SQL injection and he explains the union in this machine. So is my video lagging or not? Is my video lagging or not?
No, it's good.
Can you hear?
Yes.
You mean here
Oh,
from
the
the
video.
video? No.
The video, you cannot hear the video?
No video, no.
Okay, let's hope that we can do this. Let me do this. Autoplay, oh, we don't want this. Okay, I'm presenting and yeah, let's try this. And microphone, it's only this one, right? Why? Okay, I'm going to do another thing. Give me a minute. Rig sounds, recording devices. Okay, I'm going to make my Steve mixes the enabled one. Okay, just tell me, can you hear the voice now? Can you hear the voice of the video or no?
No. Can hear.
Okay, I think I need to change it again from here. Okay.
Now we hear nothing.
No, we can't hear. We can't hear anything.
single quote and see what happens. We do submit. Well, we have to tell it not to go through burp. And then Control-Shift-R to refresh. We do so, and send this over. We can take a look at this. And while this goes, we can take a look at the pages. So there's no input in this display. So we can ignore this for now. This staff did have something. So let's send this over to Burp Suite and play with the request. And I don't have burp up. I'm just going to run it. And while we wait for it to start, let's just manually poke at it. So I'm going to do a single quote and see what happens. We do submit. Well, we have to tell it not to go through burp. And then Control-Shift-R to refresh. We get 0 results. So I was hoping to get some type of like SQL error. And same thing goes for that. If we go next, start burp, do a comment after this, and click submit, we get the data. So we have a classic SQL injection. If we go up in Cherry Tree, we can explain what is happening. So where's Cherry Tree? We can just call this DC9. And the syntax is probably going to be something like this. Select
wait a minute, guys. You can see.
Yes, cannot see. Abdullah, can you share the utility with me? Maybe I can use it because I know how to share screen with the.
But you cannot see the video of the YouTube. Oh,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
cannot
not
see.
presenting. Oh my god.
Oh, that's problem. Okay.
I think now it's going to work. I think now it's going to work. Oh my god, I thought all that you can see the screen. Okay, now you can see it. Because I joined from my phone with another account just to see if things are working. Okay, so now you can see.
Let's see. We'll do name or select star because a valid return returns everything. But it's probably ID, name, position, phone, email. But we'll do this for now. From the table name. So this is probably going to be, let's call this users. And we'll do where first name is equal to user input. So it's probably like this. And what we did was we put a single quote here, and now this syntax is failed. And then what we did was we put a comment. So the single quote the server has is no longer valid. So anything after that is gone. So this is now a valid SQL query again, and that's why we got the result returned. So now we can do something called a union injection. And I wonder if we can explain this quickly. Let's do SQL query structure. Let's see. I gotta figure out why my VM keeps doing this, or just set myself on a static IP. But I keep losing my IP address. Let's see. Select statement. Example. It doesn't have it. Check these two real quick. So this gets some. It doesn't do a good job on getting them all because we don't have things like out, file, union, etc. Let's see. Let's just help it out by saying union, order by, out file, just things we want. And we got a document for union. That's not what we want. Reference material for select. There we go. This is kind of what I wanted. So since we're injecting in the where condition most likely, we can do everything after this, like group by, ascending, descending, having, order by, limit, procedure. Nothing is happening. Okay, so things appear to calm down. So where was I? We're talking about union. For union to work, you have to know every parameter here. So looking at what it returns, we got ID, name, position, phone number, and email. So ID, name, position, phone, and email. So we know we have this much data. And the reason why we need to know this is, again, because we need to know how many parameters are in the union. So there's two ways to go about doing this. The first is we can just do union, a bunch of unions, and eventually it'll work. So let's go burp suite on. That's the display. That's the wrong one. Go results, Control Shift R. Resend. Drop. So here's our SQL query. So we can do union select 1, and we get 0 matches, 1, 2, 0, 3, 0. Well, I'm looking right here actually at the bytes. 1, 2, 4, 8 bytes. So when that number changes, I know I made a big difference. And at 6, we get 1, 4, 2, 3 bytes. So it's no longer 1200. And looking at this code, let's see. Come on, render the page. We can see ID 1, name, position, phone number, and email. So the reason why it was 6 and not 5 is name is broken up into 2 things. We got probably first name and last name. The other way.
Okay, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry for this. Basically, what he was trying to show you guys is how the union attack works. Is that he wanted to know how many columns are there in that table. So he first started the union attack with just providing union select 1, and then it didn't work. He said select 1 and 2, and it didn't work. 1 and 2 and 3, and it didn't work. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it didn't work as well. To 5, it didn't work, and then once it came up to 6, it worked. It gave him a response with different size. So he realized that there are 6 columns in that database. So the same thing that Anas was trying to do to tell us is that you use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can use another function that is order by. And then with order by, you can put how many columns there. You can try order by 1, order by 2, order by 3, order by 4. And if none of these work, and then you try order by 6 and it works, you realize that there are 6 columns in that database. So for now, I wanted to share with you a link for a quiz and another link for the attendance. So let's first do the quiz, which is about today's lecture. I've sent it to the chat. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, that's absolutely great. So you can put your name in, and then you can start to see who are playing. We are playing with one other players.
You can put your name and MasterCard if it's possible.
Then right after that, we're going to give you the attendance meeting, and that's it. We are done for today. Okay, so did it start or not yet? I can't see it really. Okay, here it is. It still haven't started yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we wait another 2 minutes for the rest. You're playing with 31 other players. Okay, we have 30 players. That's absolutely great. How many we have in the meeting? We have 45. Okay, guys, we need 5 more. Absolutely great. 33 players. Okay, we start at exactly it's what there? It's 7:50, right? Yeah, 7:50 in Malaysia. Give it 2 minutes more to let others join, or okay, we're not having any more, right? We're still at 35. Okay, since we're not having anybody who wants to join, so 36. Okay, let's give it a minute. And then right after that, I will be sharing a link with you. Now, I know, guys, it seems a little bit daunting at the beginning, but you should anticipate this, that there has to be a lot of research from your side. And one thing that I want to share personally is that once you learn something with CyberX, like something that is extra than what you expect it to be, you would find it even affecting your academic studies, that it is helping you. I remember learning a lot of stuff about things in CyberX, about CTF questions, and then I take a subject, and then suddenly these questions are there. For example, when I took web, there was a subject called web programming last semester. It was easy. It was very, very, very easy for me because I've already learned a lot of stuff from my previous experiences with CTFs and questions, of how websites work, how PHP work, how these things work. And then it easily went with me. So even there was a subject about it's called computer organization and architecture. I actually solved a few assembly questions, when the same one that we have given you, the assembly question, that what would the function return. That was the first time I saw an assembly. It was in Pico CTF. And then I went to YouTube, and then I tried to learn about the stack, and then I liked it. And out of the sudden, I found that I'm taking assembly as well in my course. So my course went easy for me because I had an idea about assembly. So I think we're all good. We can start now. It's up with the team. They can start. And there we go. Who's leading? Which character contains all the data found in the table?
Salah. If you want to filter.
Okay, we have Omar Al-Dumeri trending. Must be met. Okay, Sharizad is trending. Who's going to win at this?
And balik. Salah aku kat end je.
Did it end or not yet? Because I cannot see. I'm just a player.
It did, I think.
Oh. God. I'm still playing, like playing wrong. Okay, all done. Who was the first guy who won?
Guys,
Is it shortly?
because I'm the one who created the quiz, so I was just trying it. Like, count after me.
Okay, would you share it with us, or would the person who did the quiz share it? He's not saying, of course it
Yes,
is me.
I will share the results in the group.
Okay. Which group?
Our group, the main group.
Okay. Once while I still didn't see the winner, guys. That's why I'm telling him. But for now, while he does this, I want to share the link for today's attendance, so we can register this at my UTM. So this is the link, and we want your feedback about today's workshop as well, so we can improve ourselves in the future. So this link, guys, is only for those who attended the meeting. So I'm going to share it in the chat. So please pick your chat. And the first winner is Sharizad. That's absolutely great. The second winner is Dot, and then we have Test and Abdullah Ayman. Okay, that's absolutely great. Congratulations, Sharizad. You've nailed it.
Is there any prize or not?
We're looking into this. Let's keep it a secret.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I think by that I hope you guys learned something, learned a bit about security queries, and I want to say, guys, you should do a lot of googling about this. So YouTube, Google, there are your friends, and we made sure that you guys know how to Google. It's exactly like the CTF. You look into the question, you look into the different keywords, and you start reading here and there, and then you get to the information. So I've shared the Google form link in the chat. So please check it out and fill in the form, so we can end this meeting, inshallah. So here is the link again for those who couldn't see it. So how many we have? Okay, guys, we're going to end up at 8 in Malaysia time. So you have 4 minutes. Please try to fill in the form as fast as possible so we can end the meeting at 8, inshallah.